Whew. Welcome back to the tiny home gym again. I just wrapped up training and wanted to make a quick video about a topic that I think is maybe the most important topic when you're thinking about building a home gym or constructing a home gym or how you're going to put it together. And that is the psychology of home gym use. So this isn't a topic that gets a whole lot of attention. I think Coop's talked about it a couple of times. He made a video on, it's been last year, I think he made a video about training in a commercial gym versus training at home and those pressures of being seen by other people and feeding on that motivation and then going to a home gym and having trouble with psychological arousal and being able to actually train hard by yourself with nobody watching you, not having anybody to show off to. And that's important. I think you should watch that video. But there's a few things when it comes to decisions that you're going to make about your gym that are really important. And if you don't have at least a little bit of a background in the psychological brain sciences kind of realm, then you're going to be out of the loop on this stuff. And these are decisions that are going to impact heavily whether or not you're going to use the gym that you are spending all of this money on, whether or not you're going to enjoy using the gym, how motivated you're going to be to use the gym, and that kind of thing. So let's first talk a little bit about willpower. So one of the things that you commonly will hear with people is that, well, I don't have to do all this stuff. I just make myself train. Well, sorry, you're just wrong. You may be able to do that sometimes, but willpower is a finite resource. And we have lives. At least I hope you have a life. I hope you have other things that are important to you outside of the gym. And if that's the case, then those things have stressors. Those have decisions that have to be made. There's time crunches and kids and pets and cars and house maintenance and job stress and a bazillion other things in life. You don't need to be spending all of your willpower trying to get yourself to train in a gym you don't want to train in, right? So let's talk about the very first option, or the very first aspect of this, and it's lighting. So you'll notice it's very bright in here. This is a small gym. This is a either 10 foot or 11 foot by 14 foot spare bedroom in my house. It has one window that's not very big. If I had just come in here and used just the overhead light with normal 60 watt bulbs in it, this would be a cave. You would come in here, it would feel like the dead of winter, even when it's summertime outside. There'd be shadows everywhere, and that reduces your psychological arousal. It makes it very difficult. It's why when you go into a commercial gym, they're always very bright, and the lights are biased towards a blue light. So if you're shopping for light bulbs, you have warm white and you have cool white, or daylight bulbs that are about 5,000 Kelvin in shade. You want to buy lights that are daylight bulbs. And so let me show you a little bit about what I've done here. In this small gym, I have a lot of, so I have the window, right? And that's good. But right now it's daylight and it's August, so it's pretty bright outside. So I'm getting some solid light from there. And then I have my overhead light, and I have two 100 watt LED, they may even be 125 watt, I don't remember, watt equivalents. They're probably 7 or 8 watts actually, but very bright daylight bulbs in there. Then I have a little clamp light. This looks like crap, but it's a patch fix for now, with another 100 watt bulb in it. And then when you go over here, I have this enormous thing, which is two clamp lights with 125 watt bulbs and just a spare crappy curtain, like thin off-white curtain that I had laying around, wrapped around them. This is because I wanted to diffuse this light. I don't want it shining in my eyes. The only one that's real bad, and it's not that bad, that overhead light, if you stare in it, like when you're trying to bench or something, kind of sucks. And then usually when this when this reverse hyper's not up, there's another clamp light there that plugs in, and that it's behind the reverse hyper, so you don't see the bulb, you don't see the direct light, but it backlights everything behind the rack, and so there's nothing dark back here, and this is all well lit, and it eliminates a lot of shadows. So this room gets really bright when I'm training in here, and that's on purpose. I want it that way. Like I said, bright light is something that's arousing. It's something that wakes you up, it's invigorating, and it makes it, so your sleep cycles, right, your circadian rhythm, you have mechanisms by which you secrete melatonin or cortisol, stress hormone, and this, along with other complicated things that I don't understand because I'm not a sleep scientist, they dictate whether or not you are sleepy or awakened. The way you wake up in the morning is you get a burst of cortisol that wakes you up. And so this kind of lighting minimizes melatonin production and maximizes cortisol production. I think you'll just notice, even if I'm wrong about these hormonal components, you will notice an enormous difference training in a well-lit gym versus a dim gym. You guys train in basements and garages, light them up. It's huge. It makes an enormous difference. It feels like a real gym because you go into a commercial gym, it'll be well lit like this. The second component, HVAC. So again, this is in the third bedroom of my house, which means what? It means it's heated and it means it's air conditioned. So this is a comfortable gym to train in, just like the YMCA or any other gym that you ever go to. It's comfortable to be in this gym. Right now it's 100 degrees outside. And I can guarantee you that I am not taking my ass out into my un-air-conditioned garage and squatting and doing a whole bunch of, pump work and assistance shit. I'm not doing that when it's 100 degrees with 90% humidity, and you're not either. And you may be an internet tough guy that's gonna say, oh yeah, I train when I was 100. Yeah, maybe once in a while you do, but not on a regular basis. And if you do, you're expending willpower that you could be putting to other more useful things like your diet, your sleep schedule, your family, your work, other shit. You don't need to waste willpower. Psych it, you're like, oh God, it's gonna suck so bad. I have to go out there and train. It's really hot or it's really cold and I gotta make myself do this. I'm not saying everything in your life should be comfortable. I'm not saying training should always be comfortable. But if you're selecting something to do, that you don't build a home gym to work out for a year and quit. You build a home gym so that you can continue this habit, this lifestyle, this way of life forever. Hopefully until you're old and decrepit and can't do it anymore. So if you're planning this out, think long term and pick spaces whereby you're going to be there's going to be fewer barriers to get you to do it. So a comfortable gym with good lighting. The third component is going to be access, how you build things. So as I've said, this is a small gym. You can see this is not a big gym. This is a wide angle lens on a camera. And it would be really, really easy to stack this gym up full of crap and make it to where I've got to dig bars out, I've got to dig plates out, I've got to move 15 items to be able to get to the thing that I want to use. That's a really bad, that's a recipe for disaster. Because again, you're expending time, you're expending energy, you're expending, it's just irritating. And you don't want to be irritated training. So you want things to be easily accessed, easily set up, quick to take down. You don't want to walk into this place and see a mess. You want to walk in here and see a relatively clean, organized gym that is easy to engage with. You don't want to have to come in here and go, okay, well, I want to train, but I got to take this and move it here, and then I got to shift this around, I got to take the rack down, then I got to set the bench up, and I got to do this, and then you got to do 15 steps to be able to even start warming up. You don't want that. It's another barrier. It's when you're having a bad day, when you don't really feel like training, that's going to be the excuse that you use not to train. So let's take a quick little tour again. This gym is maximal functionality in minimal space. So you'll see the first thing I've done is try to get as much stuff up off the floor as possible. So all of my plates are up on wall storage with the exception of one plate over there, and that's just because one of the screws stripped out on this wall plate or wall hanger over there, and I haven't drilled a new hole and put a new screw in yet, or lag bolt rather. My bands, my wrist wraps, my belts are hanging up over here. Nothing is on the floor back here. Everything over here, I've got a little corner storage unit with knee sleeves and an ab wheel and micro plates and oil and brushes for the bars and chalk and a plate carrier, and all this stuff is all up off the floor. It's easy. I can get to any of these items without disturbing any of the other items. My dumbbell rack right here, I don't have a bunch of dumbbells laying in the floor. They're on a rack, and I'm still building this set out right here. But you can see I've got my plate loadable dumbbells down here, and then I've got this smaller set that I've been slowly building. And I just walk up and pull the dumbbells off, use them, put them back. I've got some stuff hanging here. This is not a perfect solution at the moment, but you know, it's not a big deal to get to all my little pulley attachments, and I don't use them that much anyway. And then this is stuff I don't really use much, foam rollers and a little, you know, mat and crap like that. And then on this wall, we have bars, right? So again, SSB, straight bar, easy curl bar, press bar, and they're all up off the ground. They're easy to get to without disturbing anything else. I, at this moment, use belt squats as my, I do them every single time I train. I don't necessarily overload them every time I train, but I do belt squats as part of my warm-up. So for me to do belt squats, I leave this set up. If I need to take this down, if I'm working in front of the rack, it's not a big deal. I just pull 2 pins out and set this stuff aside. But when I stop training, I always put it back like this. And then I usually, the only reason these are up at the moment is because I was filming a video. But see, all I do is drop these 2 pull blocks. And now I'm ready to do my belt squats. And that right there makes it very easy to start training. I don't have to set anything up to start my routine in the morning. The reverse hyper, it folds up out of the way, but it's only a 15-second, 30-second deal to put it up and down. Everything in this gym is meant, really the longest thing to set up at this point is that GHD, and there's just really no way of getting around that because I can't leave it set up all the time. Here's a perfect example, right? I think I made a video of using these lever arms as monolith attachments. And you can do that. They are, it's not particularly complicated. With a couple of bands and a couple of band pegs, you can use these as monoliths. You want to know how many times I've used these as monoliths since I made that video? Fucking 0 times. Absolutely 0 times. Why? Because it's a pain in the ass to set up, so I don't do it. Same thing with the leg press. I have a video of using these lever arms to make a DIY leg press, and it's, you set the 2 arms up, and then I set the pull blocks and set them on there, and then I go get the leg press attachment, and then I come and set it there, and then I got to move the plate pins over and do that, and it's ridiculous. Does it work? Yeah. Do I actually use it? No, because it takes way too long to set up. So everything you buy, everything that you're going to use, everything you're banking on as your core equipment needs to be easy and fast, especially because the way most people train, you're not just doing one exercise. You're not coming in and training and just doing leg press. You're going to want to do leg press, and you're going to want to do a few pieces of assistance work. And usually big setups, big pieces of equipment that take a long time to set up are in the way. So you don't want to do that. I'm going to come up with a different leg press solution, or just not have one and just stick with the belt squat. The last thing that comes to mind right now is going to be equipment quality. And this is a multi-component aspect of the training environment. The first thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to take a fairly controversial position right now. I think people need to stop buying so much cheap Chinese shit. Stop fucking buying this stuff. I'm not saying every single thing that you own in your gym needs to be American made and top of the line and all that. That's not true of my gym. But what I'm saying is, if you go and spend the minimum amount of money possible for pieces of equipment that you're going to use all the time, your bar, your rack, your dumbbells, the stuff that you're going to use in your training on a regular basis, you're touching that. Everything that you touch, that you interact with, you get a bench that, you save some money on a bench, but it rocks a little bit, or it squeaks a little bit, or the same thing with your rack, the powder coating flakes off almost immediately, so it starts to rust and look like shit, or you buy a cheap bar and it bends, or it starts to rust, or the knurling sucks. This is going to be an enormous difference between training in your home gym and thinking about your experiences at the commercial gym. When you go to a commercial gym, if you're used to a commercial gym and you're used to commercial equipment, you're used to the way they feel, you're used to the stability of the rack, the stability of the equipment, the quality involved in that commercial equipment. That stuff's made to be used 10, 12, 14 hours a day continuously for years and years and years on end, and be abused by a bunch of idiots who don't know how to use the equipment. So that stuff is very well built. And if you go from using well-built equipment to using cheap shit in your home gym, it's going to dramatically reduce your motivation to want to train. And here's the deal. The Chinese are our geopolitical adversary. Stop funding them. They literally run concentration camps of Uyghur Muslims, participate in human trafficking of girls from North Korea, sell them into slavery for their 30 million men who can't help but have no hope of finding a wife because of their dumbass one-child policy. And they're a communist state. Stop funding them. Stop giving them all your damn money. I don't care, buy stuff from the UK, from Germany, from Canada, from Mexico. I don't care. It doesn't all have to be US stuff, but stop buying the Chinese stuff. Buy it from Taiwan. They're our ally. We're trying to protect them. The Chinese are going to end up taking them over, and that's going to start World War III. But just stop buying this cheap crap from China that can save, you save a little bit here and there. I understand on some pieces of equipment, the price gap between an American-made piece of equipment and a Chinese piece of equipment that's a copy of an American piece of equipment is vast. And I understand that not everybody has a lot of spare money. However, you are buying these items for the rest of your life. You have to take this buy it for life mentality and apply it to the acquisition of your home gym equipment. It's not even just about the costs, right? It's about the feel. It's about the experience that you have when you interact with a quality piece of equipment versus a cheap piece of equipment. And you're going to have that experience thousands and thousands of times. The money you spend once is going to hurt once, and then you're going to get to enjoy that piece of equipment until you die and give it to your kids, and then they get to enjoy it too. You're buying heirloom pieces of equipment that you're going to be able to pass on, that you're going to have positive experiences with, that you're going to have positive experiences with your children with. Just don't cheap out on everything. So, for instance, let's take this safety squat bar, for instance, and I'm not going to come get the camera because I just showed it to you. This is an Elite Fitness SS yoke bar. And this is one of those times where I think it's like a gray area, right? Because the yoke bar is stupid expensive, and I don't know that I would have paid the retail price. It's $400, $450, maybe plus shipping. And the Titan V2 or a Bells of Steel version or something like that is considerably less money, and it's a specialty bar that you don't use all the time. So I think there's a case to be made for some of it, right? Like my bumper plates. You can't buy, as far as I know, outside of high temps, you can't buy American-made bumper plates. Everything is made in China. I understand that you don't have a choice about everything. But in certain areas, buy quality equipment. It's going to feel better to use. You're going to be more motivated to use it. You're going to take pride in it and keep it and maintain it. And then you're not going to be funding the Chinese. So those are kind of the big highlights that I'm going to hit in this video, and I may make a follow-up to this. One thing that I forgot to show here in the lighting section that helps quite a bit is I also have this mirror that I bought. Or actually, I didn't buy this. This was something the previous homeowners left in the garage. But I've put this mirror up here, and so this also reflects a lot of light. So the inside of this closet is white. Now, it looks a little goofy, but it was white before, so I just left it. The paint scheme in here, kind of goofy, right? I think the stripe is cool and the red wall is cool, but why is this gold? Because gold is a brighter color, and red is a brighter color, and the flags are bright. Not everything in here is murdered out and black and metal. If that's your thing, go for it. But again, dark, dungeony, grimy, gritty gyms suck, and only psychopaths train in them. So this is a good, it's a warm color, but it's also a bright color, and it's, it has a positive effect on your psychology to deal with this. So, and put some things in here that motivate you. Put the flag up, put, whatever you dig. Just make this a place that you like, right? Make this a place that you enjoy being, that gives you pride in what you're doing, pride in what you've been able to accomplish, what solutions you've come up with. And not everything has to be expensive. Like, you could go buy a real expensive bar rack, or you could screw a couple of 1x4s into your wall and put some cheap hooks up there and wrap a little bit of electrical tape on them to protect the bars, and it works just fine. But anyway, I hope this is helpful. I think if you start implementing some of these suggestions into building your home gym, I think you're going to have a much more positive experience in your home gym, and I think you'll use it more, and then you'll be jacked and take over the universe.